videos that are going to make you question reality. Let's just start.
Know that the ice wall is the end of the earth. There's one simple answer to disprove God. See, because atheists need a religion too. For example, God said that the earth does not move, it stands still. But NASA and scientists say that the earth is moving thousands of miles per hour. God tells us that he put the stars, the moon, and the sun inside of the firmament with us. But scientists comes and say that the sun and the moon is outer space. God speaks about wandering stars. He doesn't speak about planets. I'm pretty sure when God said that he created the earth, he would have also said he created Mars, Saturn, Jupiter. All of that is a bunch of lies. They ain't never been outside of the firmament of the earth. Nobody could leave the firmament of the earth. A lot of people like to think outside of the box. So they believe that there's other stuff out here outside of the firmament. Like they've been saying, like there's more land past the ice wall and a whole lot of other stuff. But in reality, there's nothing past the ice wall except the firmament. And they know that. Because this is how God said he created the earth. He put a tent around us to dwell in, a firmament. And then he created two lights, a greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night. See, they telling us that they went outer space to land on the moon. First of all, the moon ain't even outer space. It's inside the firmament with us. Outer space don't even exist. They are creating those videos inside of water with fake CGI. That's why astronauts practice in water. They gotta practice their role, right? And not only that, you couldn't land on the moon if you wanted to, because the moon is luminary. It's not a solid object. Y'all really think these people don't know the truth? They show it all the time in TV shows, in movies. Don't a lot of y'all believe in The Simpsons? Oh, how did The Simpsons predict this? That's because it's the elites ruling everything. They know exactly what's happening. They know exactly what's really out here. They just don't want us to know what's actually out here. For example, The Simpsons talked about the firmament before in a show. There's no way out. Just like God told us in his word. The Antarctica 360 ice wall is around the whole earth. Because that's where it ends. And y'all need to understand, the earth is made up mostly of water. Water has to be contained. Like, let's be for real, the United Nations logo is a flat earth logo. And every time it's Earth Day, Google posts this. Literally a flat earth image of the firmament. There's subliminal messages throughout different movies. Even pilots use a flat earth map to navigate the world. Hold on, because I already know what y'all gonna say. How come when I'm in a plane and I'm flying in a straight line, I end up in the same place where I started? Let me tell you why. So as we know, the compass only recognizes north. See, north only points towards the center. Hint, the North Pole. The North Pole. Any other direction is only based off the direction of north. How can a compass point south on a globe if they are saying that south is downwards? That's because east and west are curved lines that's constantly readjusting to align with north. Alright, so like you said, how come when I'm flying in a straight line, I end up in the same place where I started? Well, you see, that only happens with east and west. So if you're saying that you circled the whole world and ended up in the same place that you started, that's because you was only going east and west. But see, let me tell you, traveling south is a whole different ballgame. You see, because south is any direction leaving the center, which the center is the North Pole, north. So if you traveling extremely far away from the north, heading south, guess where you will end up reaching? The Antarctica ice wall. And they do not want y'all reaching the Antarctica ice wall, finding the truth. You will get killed if you ever try to even go near the Antarctica ice wall. Because they know the truth. And they want to continue to hide it from us. Why you think on a compass it only allows you to go east and west? But as soon as you try to go south, it will start messing up and trying to make you go right back towards north. And the compass will start to trip until you go east or west. That's because they don't want you traveling south. So they telling you and letting you know, you on the wrong path. The compass is letting you know, don't go south. See, because there ain't more land, that's where the firmament ends. You see, because when God says something, it never comes back void. When I said, this far you may come, and no farther, here is where your proud waves halt. When God says the Antarctica ice wall is the farthest place you can go, and no farther, he meant that. And that's why in Romans 3 and 4, he said, let him be the truth and every man a liar.
I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is it?
There are black witches and white witches, that there are witches that do good. Witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic, use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm. I did it 2 times. Both of them worked, and then I went,
Are you serious?
this is bigger than I am. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it.
What were your hexes?
One was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me. What happened was, we went to school that day. The guy walked up to me and just slugged me. The second bus shows up and we get in the bus and we take off. He's coming up to his house and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man. And when he hit me, I went, ooh, and I swallowed that shit. That's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book and I found something that would do what I wanted. I did that hex.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming.
Do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was. When we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest, he said that he laid hands on me and the head of a bull came out of my chest.
You see, President Trump might just get his wish, and that wish is to make Canada the 51st state of America. And you should pay attention to that, because it all started from a joke. And you see how that joke is about to take legs and walk. Oh, you don't believe me? Look at this shit. So President Trump might find a way to make Canada that 51st state after all, and he's gonna use the Golden Dome to make it happen. And apparently they know something that we don't know. Apparently they're making that Golden Dome for a reason. Go back to the video I made about that Golden Dome and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you this. You see how Canada said it's some things that can't be bought? And you see how President Trump said everything's for sale. It's a lot of pressure going on right now. It's a lot of things that might happen in the near future that would make Canada believe that they need that Golden Dome. And I'll tell you who won't like the fact that America is really building that Golden Dome. China. China definitely won't like the fact of that. Because they know for a fact once that dome is up, those bombs, those missiles are useless. And whatever plans they had on doing anything, if they had any plans on doing anything to the United States, it won't happen. In Canada, knowing what's going on, they're ready to jump in bed with President Trump. So I'm looking forward to see what happens with this, because 9 times out of 10, Canada is going to be the 51st state for free. Look at that right there.
For free?
Imagine building a business with your own last name on it from scratch, and somebody takes it, keeps the name, then opens a new one up across the street just to put you out of business. That's disrespectful, ain't it? And that's exactly what happened with McDonald's. Listen up, because you're about to hear one of the most diabolically brilliant stories in business history. So meet Ray. Ray had problems with a capital P. He was broke, divorced, and 52 years old selling milkshake machines door to door like Kirby Vacuum. And nobody was buying. Then out of nowhere, he gets an order for 6 milkshake machines from this burger spot out in Cali. So he pulls up on them expecting like this big diner, but instead he finds this tiny burger spot with a line wrapped around the block. So he's like, dang, man, it's cracking over here. Orders his burger, his fries, and a root beer. And then his kid behind the counter takes his money and gives him his food in like 20 seconds. Then these 2 dudes come out the back and they smile and go, I'm Mac. This is my brother Dick. Welcome to McDonald's. Ray's like, man, y'all don't have a restaurant. Y'all have a freaking gold mine. Y'all ever think about franchising it? He's like, yeah, man, we had a guy, but he had a heart attack a while back and died. Ray's like, put me in, coach. I'll do everything your way. And they was like, cool. And that was mistake number one. Ray hits the streets and started pushing McDonald's like it was crack in the 80s. But here's the problem, at least for Ray. The brothers controlled everything, from the napkins to the ketchup packet. So Ray's just sitting there like, man, I'm over here building a dynasty. I ain't got no control, and they're over here paying me like a fry cook. And to make it worse, he's going broke doing it. So he tries to get some money from the banks, and they wasn't rocking with him. So what's he do? He picks up the phone and makes a call. Ring, ring, ring. This is American Life Insurance Company. How can I help you? Ray's like, yeah, I need to borrow some money against my policy. She goes, you know we got you. How much do you need? Ray goes, all of it. She's like, okay, we'll send a check right away. No credit check, no nothing. He takes the money, uses it to pay his people, and he launches a brand new marketing idea. A clown. That's right. Ronald freaking McDonald. Funded by life insurance money. I swear you can't make this stuff up. Now Ray's making it.
Barely.
Then he meets this guy named Harry Sonneborn. Ray walks in and starts pitching his vision, and Harry just listens, then he drops a bar. He's like, Ray, you don't build $1 million business selling 15-cent hamburgers. You build $1 million business by owning the land on which that hamburger is cooked. You ain't in the restaurant business. You in the real estate business. Ray's like, excuse me? And together they start the Franchise Realty Corp. Not owned by the McDonald's brothers, just him. Now every new McDonald's, he owns the dirt, collects the rent, and the franchise fees. Somebody say double dip.
Damn.
And at this point, he don't need the brothers no more. So what does he do? He pulls up on them like, I'm gonna buy y'all out. They go, we ain't selling you nothing. Ray's like, look, man, y'all built your little burger stand, have fun, but I just built a freaking empire. Offers them $2.7 million in cash, and they shake on it. But guess what? That handshake was never in writing. Word is, Ray promised them royalties for life, but since it wasn't in the contract, he never paid them. And just to be petty, Ray opens up a new McDonald's right across the street from the original one, puts the brothers out of business with their own idea, and he used life insurance, real estate, and ruthless execution to do it. So what can we learn from this? We can learn that you don't wait till you're rich to make power moves. You make the power moves now, so one day you become rich. Most people use life insurance to pay for their funeral. Ray Kroc used life insurance to build $1 billion empire. And if you want to do the same, comment legacy and I'll send you the same step-by-step play Ray used to build McDonald's from nothing, so you can run the play.
You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. I figured this whole shit out. I did. So, if this is this, right? And this Polaris is the North Star, then what in the fuck covered up the moon or the sun in that solar eclipse? Cause I got the video. Oh hell no. They knew. Solomon, Soul is missing from the calendar like that video I told y'all. So the triangle, the paradox, the sun, the moon, the North Star, as above, so below. My observations are right, bro. For years, I've been trying to figure this shit out. Look at what I wrote. I figured this out. This is my book. I figured it out, bro. The North Star, sun, moon, black sun, it comes out the middle, bro. It goes up, and this sending out rays is what actually cover the moon, bro. And that's why the moon does this stupid cycle stuff, bro.
I'm the craziest shit I heard, fam.
Do you understand?
Did you know coffee was a psyop in Japan? For what? Oh my god, it's crazy. For what? So, in Japan, back in the day, they didn't have coffee. They all drank tea.
Yeah.
But American companies, what did they want to do? They wanted to make Japan like coffee.
Okay.
But they couldn't make a coffee brand and just drop it in Japan because nobody fucking drinks that, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is what they did, and they're so smart. What they did was, the marketer, he told the guy, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna make a candy, and you're gonna make a whole bunch of flavors. And one of the flavors is gonna be coffee. And they don't know what coffee is, but they're gonna fall in love with the taste of that flavor.
Because it's new, obviously.
Eventually, the newer generation is gonna know, because it's kids that eat the candy, right? The newer generation is gonna familiarize the taste and fall in love with that flavor coffee, know about it, and then that's when they ended up moving the coffee business to Japan. And what happened? Now, to this day, they just opened the biggest Starbucks in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
And I said, don't give me the Bible, I don't want to hear the Bible. And he says, what do you mean? And I said, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in that garbage. And he says, well, what is it about the Bible you don't think is true? And I said, I don't know, I never read it. And he said, well, you're not an atheist, you're a moron. I have to tell you, I would have hit him, except that I would have lost access to Muirfield Village. And I wasn't going to do that. And I asked him to explain himself, and he said, well, to be honest with you, a true atheist is not only a biblical scholar, but is scholarly in all the face of the earth. And after a long intellectual journey has come to the conclusion that there is no God of the universe. You, on the other hand, want to circumvent the entire intellectual process and just come to the conclusion that there's no God. That's lazy and moronic.
True.
I didn't know what to say.
If you could say or speak to them about the gospel of Jesus Christ, what would you say to them about your experience with Christ?
I've trusted man, I've trusted woman, I've trusted child, I've trusted people, places, and things. And every last one of them have somehow, some way or another let me down. But not Jesus. But not Jesus. Not one day, not one time, not one moment. And I've learned to accept all things. In all things. When I tell you all things, I don't have bad days. All my days are good. All my days of learning are their lessons, or their things that take me from faith to glory, or their ways that teaches me and trains me how to reach and how to teach and how to touch, how to inspire, how to encourage, and how to motivate. All these different things. I've been through private hell and public hell, and have had private success as well as public success. So everything is a learning tool for me, and I'm going to take every last bit of
my name. It's not too important.
We're gonna hear some beats.
What I'm about to tell you, it's extremely important. I'm one of the first people to get a Neuralink implant in my skull. If you guys can see and don't really know what a Neuralink is, it's kind of like an electronic chip from Elon Musk embedded in your skull. At first it was kind of like a Fitbit, kept track of vital signs, stuff that was going on in my body. Eventually it's gotten to a point where I can move a mouse without even touching a computer. I can connect, I can download, I can transfer information. I'm not the only person that has one of these now, and now we can communicate. This is what's going to happen for the rest of the world. Eventually, this technology will be, maybe not in you, your kids, your grandkids. This is what's coming next. Welcome to the year 2025. Have fun.
I don't know what's wrong with them deers, but that lady getting beat up wasn't even the first person I saw getting beat up by a deer this year. That don't even sound like a real sentence, but it is. This man is the first person I saw getting beat up. He's talking about he was outside trying to drink his coffee. He like, am I dreaming? Hold on.
I'm sitting here doing 5 minutes. Was he fucking dreaming? How do you see it? How'd you see it? I don't know why it's so fucking mean. I don't know why it's mean. The buck. Stop, motherfucker. What's your deal? Would you just look out your window? I was making my fucking coffee. Stop here. Hold it by the collar. Holy crap.
Why she ain't open?
Go your way. I'm gonna do mine. Alright? 3, 2, 1.
They are all in it.
Just a reminder that it only takes a quick second to Google what the police department's phone number is. So I actually called the Kansas City Police Department and I asked them, I said, is it a law in Kansas City that you must have a safety belt for every single passenger inside of a vehicle? The woman said yes. I said, is it against the law to have people standing inside of the back of a U-Haul and having it drive away? She said yes. I said, if a police officer was on site and witnessed people piling into the back of a U-Haul, should they all get tickets? And she said, yes. And I said, then why is it that there is a Nazi protest happening in Kansas City with Kansas City Police Department on site witnessing it, watching people file into a U-Haul and drive away, and no ticketing was happening? She said, I'm not sure that should have happened. They're in on it, guys. Condolences.
Yes, they have lied about the maps. The North Pole. Just water. Absolutely nothing to see. Just classic H2O. Keep on sailing by. Or perhaps just ice. It's just ice. It's just a barren wasteland of ice and uninhabitable. You know, nothing to see. There's nothing to go investigate or anything like that, right? Not according to Gerardus Mercator, who created this map, and this map was released in 1595. Look at all that land.
But then it's crazy. If you create a map, how did you create a map? Because, I mean, how? Maybe satellites outside space. But then even that one, it wouldn't be vivid like this. So how do they create these maps? Like, I don't understand how these maps are being created, because it's crazy. Everybody has a different map and I don't know what's happening. I don't know which one is real and which one is not. I wish I could, know, or better still, is it really important? I think it is. But then, I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Let's get back to the video.
You see that land? 4 huge land masses, 4 waterways or rivers coming out of the center. This is the Rupus Nigra in the center. You got to say that slowly. Or the Black Rock. Okay? Why are they telling us about this stuff? They just removed this from the maps. Why? They hiding something? Now, there's mythology around this place called Hyperborea. One of these islands is Hyperborea, and it's the land of giants. And they're not like Nephilim, according to the mythology. They're nice people. They're friendly. They're very helpful people. And they live up there in peace, and it's a beautiful area. And some people speculate that this is where the Garden of Eden is at. Now, the North Pole could be where the Garden of Eden is located. This is Genesis 2:10. Now, a river flowed out of Eden to water the garden. And from there, it divided and became 4 rivers. And then they named the 4 rivers, one of which is the Euphrates. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute, Euphrates, that's way over there on the other side of the earth. I know that's what they say. And it's possible that they renamed these different biblical places and rivers and stuff like that. And they place them in other random spots that aren't actually what they really are. All that stuff could be in America. Who knows? Or it could be the North Pole. The reason why I doubt it and I speculate about it is because we know that they lied about the shape of the earth. So they're going to lie about where we all live. Why wouldn't they lie about the contents of where we live? See what I'm saying? So it's hard to trust stuff. So the maps that we see today don't show any of this stuff. They're completely wiped off the maps. Why? What are they hiding up there? What are they hiding? So there's speculation online that says that this center area, this water area, is a whirlpool, which leads to the inner earth. And there's more land and people and nations in the inside of the earth, in the hollow earth. Could be true. There's no way to verify it because you can't go all up in this area. You can't go check stuff out for real because the government's going to lock you down. They're going to shut you down. Same thing with Antarctica, right? You can't go down to Antarctica to see all the pyramids and see all the cool stuff. They take you to a little peninsula. There's the 4 rivers. There's the 4 waterways right there. So now this is the Black Rock. And if this is a whirlpool that leads to the inner earth, who knows? The Garden of Eden could be in the center of the earth. I don't know. That's all speculation. I know it's kind of far out there. I know. So yes, they absolutely changed the map. Or they just threw ice on top of it to hide the land masses.
Did y'all see the video of the Indian men walking from India to America? I don't know how accurate this is, but the lady is recording them and she's like, where did you guys fly into? And they're looking at her like she got 5 heads. Like, bitch, what do you mean fly into where? And they're like, India, we walk, India. And she's like, yeah, but like, did you guys fly to Mexico or something? And they're like, no, lady, we walked from India. Type in your TikTok search bar right now. Indian men walk from India to America. It's gonna come right up. It's like a group of, it was like 5 of them. Mind you, the lady's like, how the hell did you guys even walk from India to America? It's like impossible. They looking at her like, lady, we just did it, bitch. The fuck? They looked like they was getting a little annoyed. Like, this lady's asking us too many questions. We told her what we did and we did it. You know what I'm saying? But I literally saw the video of it.
How you doing, bro? Nice to meet you. Hi. Hi. I'm on. How you doing? Who let this guy in here? Yeah. Hey, where's Kanye? We want to say we love Ye. We love Ye for being outspoken regardless, because it's America, and I think it's a great thing to live in a free country. Don't you, Guy? I think it's a free country.
So you really hopped on my screen, knowing my influence.
Yeah.
So come on here and say that.
I think he's a great guy that at the end of the day, you have a dialogue with him.
And that's what I'm going to say. I think I want to protect my energy.
Yeah, well, I think you let him talk is a good thing.
But no, I'm going to politely ask you, get out of here, guys.
Well, we think it's good to have free opinions.
I get
God
it.
bless you, Guy.
This is the Milan Cathedral in Italy. And allegedly it was built in the 1300s and supposedly took 600 years to do, with hammer and chisel, horse and cart,
Hammer and chisel.
you know, ropes and pulleys, and just brute strength to create this amazing, beautiful, perfectly symmetrical structure with no technology, no power tools. How did they complete this? How did they build this? And they just had masterful level stonemasonry skills and just excellent project management and transferring of responsibilities over 600 years. This cathedral is made out of marble, and they mined it 60 miles away and just hauled it with brute strength over to Milan and built it. How did they get the marble up there? How they hoist it up? How they hand chisel it to be perfect? And that door, what is this door? Look at that door. Look how big that door is. That door is built for a giant. Why would they build a door that big for regular people? Look at those people. And look at that door. Oh, it's just for design. It's just for, aesthetics. Impractical. Where the handle's at. Look at this place, man. What is this place? This is not, this got converted into a church, but it wasn't originally built to be a church. Look at this. Y'all seen this? I think this is Jesus right here. Okay. And these looks like angels around Jesus's body. Jesus on the cross over there. Maybe another depiction of Jesus. This is very, very good imagery here. I don't know when this door was made, because they said it took 600 years. So who knows when this door was actually completed for real. They might tell you, it's completed this year, but we don't know for sure. But this is Jesus, okay? Now, this place wasn't always a church. It was a power plant at some point. I'm just here to remind you, they did all this by hand. All of these statues and these dudes and these people in here, all by hand. Perfectly done by hand. No tech. That's what they say. This structure was not originally built to be a church. In the old world, in the old Tartarian civilization, this was a power plant or a power harnessing structure to get the etheric or atmospheric free energy and disperse it throughout the area. This was like a pylon. These are all pylons and stuff. And they were dispersing free energy to the different buildings. All these buildings with these antennas everywhere. That's what that was. These old buildings, they harnessed the ether that was shot out from these power plants. You're looking at the inside of an old world power distribution center. How did they build this? How did they hoist all this stuff up with no technology, no cranes? How'd they do that in the 1300s, guys? Let me see a show of hands of people who believe that they did not build this in the 1300s with no tech or no abilities. Are y'all seeing the magnificence of this? You see that random guy at the top of that pylon right there? They put that guy up there. That's marble. That's marble. They put that marble dude on the top of this pylon. How did they get that up there? So these buildings, I'm telling you, they tried to destroy these buildings during World War II to get rid of the evidence. And I strongly believe that Christ reigned. The millennial reign already happened, and they hid that information. And a lot of these buildings are connected to that. The point of this video is to get you to open your eyes and question the mainstream and doubt what they say. Because they're lying about this building. They're lying about history. They're giving you made up, fabricated facts and providing proof, fake proof, in order to keep you in the matrix and docile. They're also creating lies and hiding information about Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ, that Christianity is not a religion, guys. It's actually the truth. And these buildings and a lot of this history points straight to Christ. Many conspiracies point straight to the truth of Jesus Christ. And we're going to get into that in other videos.
Tim, Diddy invited me to his birthday party, but he took me to a separate room where there were all young boys. Diddy forced me to sacrifice them. He also forced me to beat Casty.
Uh-oh. Oh my God. How dare I?
Those girls should have never been in that courtroom. I don't know who thought it was a good idea for those young ladies to be in that courtroom as their father's life has been put on display. No, let's be for real.
He detailed his encounters with Diddy and Cassie, and he talked about the fact that Diddy liked to pleasure himself while watching Danielle and Cassie doing their thing. This was so graphic, apparently. Diddy's 3 daughters twice got up and left the courtroom. He talked about baby.
And whether it's the money, the promises, or whatever, it gets you.
How you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TD Jakes?
Man, what I think about it is this, when I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You have to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin, drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
Like Lois. What do you mean, who is this? This is Peter Griffin. What are you talking about here? Now, Zay, we're going to get down to the bottom of this right now, all right? Now, why were you banging my wife? Oh, you think this is funny? What? I'm asking you about...
Y'all want to know what's wild? The more and more I study neuroscience, the more I realize Christ was not just teaching us spirituality and how to create heaven on earth. He was literally teaching us how to rewire our minds, regulate our nervous system, and heal from the inside out. Let me explain. When Christ said, "Don't worry about tomorrow," he was actually calling us out of anxiety and into presence. Neuroscience calls this mindfulness, and it's been shown to calm the fear center in the brain and help regulate the nervous system. When he said, "Forgive 70 times 7, that wasn't just about being a good person. Forgiveness literally helps release stored trauma, interrupt stress cycles, and protects your brain from emotional burnout. And when Jesus tells us to love our enemies, that is next level emotional regulation. Choosing compassion over revenge actually strengthens the part of your brain that is responsible for empathy and wise decision making. So yeah, Jesus wasn't behind the science. He was actually ahead of the science. Long before we even had words for it, long before the brain scans and the studies, he was giving us the tools to heal, regulate, and renew our minds, not just to prepare us for heaven, but to show us how to live whole right here on earth. If you made it to the end of this video, my name is Aya, and I'm passionate about connecting the dots between neuroscience, healing, and faith. If that speaks to you, follow me and share this with someone who needs to hear it.
Running in place for 24 hours straight is not even that hard when you're doing it on display in a museum with a slowly rotating saw behind you. Here our subject hits the 20-hour mark as fans are cheering him on like a caged zoo animal. I will also note that every 3 to 4 hours we inject him with methamphetamine.
2 days ago, Ukraine launched drones in an attempt to bring down Putin's helicopter with him inside. During Putin's weekend visit to the front line, Zelensky ordered drones to try to take down Putin. 46 of these drones were launched directly at Putin's helicopter on Saturday night, and all 46 were luckily intercepted and did not reach his aircraft. Now, this is the first time on either side that the president himself has been attacked directly. This wasn't a missile strike, this was a precise UAV attack on Putin.
Поэтому мы одновременно вели противовоздушный бой и обеспечили безопасность в воздухе пролета вертолета президента.
An all-out air defense battle took place. The helicopter had evasive maneuvers, and Putin himself was in real danger. And all it would have taken is one of these to get through. Do we all know the severity of this situation? That Ukraine tried to take him out. If this happened, the world today would have been completely different than it would have. This video would not have been made if this attack was successful, by the way.
He said, man, I want to tell you something, man. I'm like, what's up? He like, bro, I took this young lady on a date before. And he was like, she dropped dead gorgeous, like bad. I'm like, yeah. He like, yeah. So I took her on a date. I took her to like Ocean Prime or something. It's a few years ago. He says, I took her to Ocean Prime. She told me, she was like, I'm having a great time, man. You so nice. You got manners. You're a gentleman. You know what I mean? And she was like, this is probably like one of the best dates I ever been on. And she was like, but I got something to tell you. And he was like, what's up? She was like, I'm HIV positive.
She got them letters. She spared him.
She spared him, bro. So he said, damn. He said, you all right? You need me to do anything for you? Whatever. She said, I ain't gonna lie. If you would have been a jerk, I'd have gave it to you.
I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. It's rules to this. I wrote.
Is the world now. And this is wrong. What if I told you that from here to here, it's 6,400 kilometers. But from here to here, which only looks like half the size, is 7,200. The continent of Africa has been shown smaller than it actually is. What if I told you that Greenland was only this size? Or Russia was this size? And US and Canada were not small. You know what? This is the real map. Look at Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They're much smaller now. But Greenland is tiny.
This is crazy.
So when I woke up at the bottom of the mountain, where our Jeep was upside down, and the wheels were still spinning, the lights were on, glaring into an icy wall that we had crashed into. The guy that was driving the car, my friend, was completely covered in blood. Carmen, my cousin, was in the backseat, but I guess, I'm not sure exactly where they found her, because she was not answering. And I was so shocked and so amazed to be alive, because I was sure that I was going into the light. So there was a part of me that, because I remember when I lost consciousness, the first thing I said is, oh, I'm going into the light. And so when I came back to consciousness and I was not in the light, I was like surprised. I was like, whoa, where's the light? And then I realized, oh, I'm still alive. So the question is about the burden of suffering that we have on this planet. And it seems, and I know this is one question that I had, especially as a younger woman, like, how could a God, that is pure love, pure light, allow for such suffering, such cruelty to children, to the mass of men living quiet lives of desperation? How could it be? It didn't make sense to me. So it was definitely one of the questions that I asked and I had to answer before I could write this book on love. And I remember one time I went to Unity Church, and there was a spiritual teacher there that I liked a lot. His name is Neil Donald Walsh. And I remember it was right after the 9/11 here in the United States, when the terrorist attacks on the towers in New York City. And I remember I was really angry at God. I was on stage. This guy called me up and said, "You have a question?" And I remember I go up on stage and I'm like, how is it possible that God this loving creator could allow for this. And I remember him distinctly telling me, he said, well, Crystal, he said, you know, you look like you're doing well. You have a nice life. What are you complaining about? And I said, yeah, but what about Hitler, Stalin, all the people, the genocides, the towers, like not just this suffering of our generation, but suffering of the ages. And he said, okay. He asked me a very stringent question. And he said, is there any darkness in you? Like just a speck. I'm like, okay, yes. Have you ever lied? Yes. Have you ever stolen? Yes. Have you ever killed even a mosquito? Just killed a mosquito. Stepped on an ant. Have you killed? Eaten an animal? Yes. He said, work on that. The war inside of you, work on that. The scarcity inside of you, the perversion inside of you, work on that. And if each one of us were to work on that, then this world would be a completely different world. So within that context, let me answer your question. We, as the essence of God, we burst into particles of light. And for the joy, let's just say, God burst into particles of light because that which is most beautiful, you and me, creation, coming into existence, we are given free will. The most beautiful gift that you could possibly be given, free will. Free will to do what? Whatever we want. That's what. We can lie, we can steal, we can kill, we can love, we can be kind, we can be generous. We get to choose. But the one thing that we don't get to choose is the destination of our journey. Because like always attracts like. And we are a child of the God. We are the children of the divine. So our experiences here enrich and enliven and educate the whole of existence, not just our own soul, because each soul is so unique and so necessary, and the experience is so profound that we have, that it enhances even our creator. In other words, we are God experiencing himself, itself, as more God, within a paradigm where of forgetfulness, where we have free will, on our way back to the divine with the precious pieces of light, information, pieces of the night, information that we take back, and therefore is the expansion of the whole. And by the way, it was also shown that each soul comes here for the bliss of its own existence. And I was shown that our lives are like movies, like a movie theater. You see these shadows and light, right? So you go to a theater and you see a horror film, or you see a comedy, or you see a cartoon, or you see a love story, but it's just a movie. At the end of the movie, the lights go off, the camera goes off, the screen is still white, still pure, untouched. Even if there's murder on the screen, even if there's a love scene, even if there's cartoons, the screen is always the same. The screen is never touched, never hurt, never affected by the stories. And that's our soul.
Other Shoppers is going viral.
More than 10,000 times in the last 24 hours.
What?
The Festus mom you're about to meet wants everyone to take a minute and check out their shopping carts before they use them in just about every store. If there wasn't a picture, you probably wouldn't believe it.
Just horrible if someone would do that and hurt someone.
Hurt someone by hiding a razor blade in the handlebar of a shopping cart. Michelle Patterson was disinfecting her cart at this Festus Walmart when she says she felt it.
I jerked my hand away and I looked at my finger and then I looked at the handle and I couldn't believe there was a razor blade. The first thing I thought it was, what if it would have been a child in that seat?
The cut wasn't serious, and once police arrived, Patterson was told it may not have been intentional.
She said that it's probably just from a shoplifter and that they've been using razor blades to cut the soft items or open the packages.
A spokesman for Walmart called the incident disturbing and says they've since checked all the carts at this location. They also say they'll continue to regularly check those carts. And security footage is also being reviewed by Walmart.
Yo, this is crazy. Look at this video, man.
These foods are all banned in other countries, so it's probably safe to say you should be careful of eating these. 1. Farm-raised salmon. The bright pink color you notice in farm-raised salmon is not natural. These fish are fed an unnatural diet of genetically engineered grains and a concoction of antibiotics and other chemicals like synthetic acetic acetate, which is derived from petroleum and which is not safe for human consumption. They are the most common reason for parasites in humans, which is why they are banned in Australia and New Zealand. 2. Coffee-made crema and Ritz crackers. These foods have very high levels of trans fats like hydrogenated soybean oil and cottonseed oil, which can directly lead to heart disease. This is why they've been banned in Switzerland, Denmark, Norway, Iceland and Hungary. 3. Mountain Dew. If the neon green color of this soda itself does not scare you already, perhaps it's the fact that it's banned in both Japan and parts of Europe. It contains bromine, the element found in brominated flame retards, which can build up in the body and potentially lead to memory loss, as well as nerve and skin issues like acne.
Comment detox. If you want to detox these toxins out your body, or visit blackveganshop.com to order colon detox and total body detox. Comment detox. If you want to detox these toxins out your body, or visit blackveganshop.com to order colon detox and total body detox.
Watch how this professor destroys evolution theory.
Evolution is based on 4 major ideas. None of them have ever been observed. Number 1, that life comes from non-life. We have not one single example of life coming from non-life. Number 2, that all the life forms that we have today came from single-cell life forms. Many people do not know that while we do have single-cell life forms that we call bacteria, we have no 2-cell life forms, we don't have 3-cell life forms, we don't have 4-cell life forms, we don't even have 5-cell life forms, that you go from single-cell bacteria to complex life forms. So there's no evidence that all life comes from single-cell life forms. The third postulate of evolution is that time and chance drive evolution forward, of course, and time works against evolution. The chance of one simple 100-unit protein coming together by accident is a very big number. Time and chance make evolution absolutely impossible. The fourth postulate that evolution is based on is that what we see today, minor genetic variation in species, is evidence of macroevolution. So because cats are different colors, dogs are different sizes, that means that fish turned into cows. And of course, we know that that's not true because Mendel proved that all the genes that exist today, you can shuffle them around, but there are no new genes.
Come on, LeBron. This isn't king activity or GOAT behavior. Mike would have never did this. What's up with the orange man purse suitcase? The more I see LeBron, the more it makes me think that he was at the freak offs with Puffy. What was he thinking? Look at his outfit. This is Queen James 101. No wonder why Savannah always has an attitude with him and doesn't want to dap him up after the games. There's no way that we can continue to call LeBron the GOAT when he's dressing like this. First the skirt last year, now you have the oversized orange male suitcase / Birkin bag. What's going on with this dude? I've never seen any masculine NBA players carry on this way. What's going on with LeBron? Is he going to be the next person brought up at the Diddy trial?
With the power of a bow and arrow, you could kill another human being without actually looking them in the eyes. And the conclusion was, that's the end of bravery. And so I thought about this, whoa. Any tool where you can kill at a distance, that's cowardly on some level. And the progress of military conflict has been, how far away can you kill at a distance?
Well, you know, the unmanned drones.
Or missiles, that's intercontinental ballistic missile. Let me kill a whole city, and I'm not even within 5,000 miles of the city.
It's crazy. And we've come to the end of the video. Some of these theories were so disturbing, but then, hey, information is always interesting to learn and to know. So yeah, it was a good video, it was a good session, it was a good series, and we've come to the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also share the link. Adios, amigos. Bye.